5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Nice to be in orbit.
Place to go to see the Milky Way, its nebula and supernova, its flakes of star and grains of dust. I would be there and only there, staring at what amounts to God, tracing constellations with my finger, looking for that dark river of clouds and gaps that allows a view of the galaxy's core, of the beginning and end of everything, telling myself stories of light and gravity. I know of no such place near these fields and hills, draped in electric orange, everything blended into a homogeneous fog of street lamps and neon beer signs, my own great rift glistening behind my eyes, star and void, positive and negative, fusion and static. I avoid explorations, already intimate with that vanished singularity at my center, desperate instead to see myself mirrored in the heavens, to see every one of us caught in spirals.
I close my eyes, and there are satellites like flakes of skin, the coattails of comets, slacks held up with asteroid belts, rings fingering moons and planets, disembodied eyes that never blink and never dry, nebular tongues singing cosmic melodies and curling into tubes, gravity wells filled with ink, and nothing with a name. Nothing with a true and proper name. Nothing named unless I decide. Name tags stuck to gaseous atmospheres and left blank for my pen and mine alone. This is what it means to see.
A singularity is born out of violence. A star collapses and every bit of it falls in on itself and falls and falls and falls, and neighbors pour in as well. Threads of electronuclear flame siphon from nearby stars. A singularity extinguishes. A singularity snuffs. A singularity feasts on the universe's blood until everything is anemia, and still it feasts until all that is left is its own guilty heart, and that too falls in. and then an echo like one last gunshot, and then silence. No one left to argue over vacuums or the fault of the stars, not even a god to ignore the gathering shadows.
What matters is what is missing, what shapes are made in my breast by the absence of things, what maps of missing skin are etched into my forearm, the torn hole that is my mouth, the fissure of gray blood and nerve endings from the back of my head. What matters are these dark cloud constellations in my soul, these voids like razor blades, these schisms like bottles of scotch, these chasms gone fetal, these hollows in employment histories and heart failures, while my tongue can dance on a string in a shower of starlight, and my smile can burst like so many meteors against the edge of the earth. What matters is all this negative space in my skull. A binary star encased in meat, two nuclear globes dancing around a maypole of bone, one to the other and back again, tied together, trapped in this dying galaxy of flesh, a binary bipolar system of equal and opposite fires. Roll flames across your tongue. Spit flames in all directions. Everything will blister regardless, imploding upon yourself or expanding until you burst. It is gravity all the same. Weight from one direction or another. Pressure is pressure is pressure. Solaris has a mind of its own. An ocean of games and tricks, about as unknowable to us as the emotions of a cloud, drifting wherever the wind decides, barely holding together, waiting to collapse.
You have goals, you have potential. All you need is a strong and narrow telescope and clear skies and clean lenses and also endless lungs. Always look forward. Always open your veins to map the stars. Always celebrate discovering new constellations. Always forgive your heat deaths. Always remember that your heat deaths are simply hot flashes amplified by an uncontrollable aberration in the chemical composition of your brain, combined with a life marinated in broken satellites and red shifts and cracked control panels and existential meteor showers, which are only rocks floating in space and not definitions. Never forget the rocket fuel in your belly. Never forget that you are a wavelength and not a parabola. There will always be another dip, but there will always be another rise.
Discovery Houston, press to ATO.
What are we looking for if not syzygy as we stare into the heavens? That instance of standing together, perhaps on different planes, perhaps from different starting points or angles, perhaps upside down or sideways, but all on the same side, bringing the oceans as high as they will ever reach, banded together in singular formation, casting iridescent Einstein rings around our own eyes, increasing exponentially individual force with constellational gravity and casting more light as all than as one.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
One day this will all be nothing. This earth of ranges and depths and serpents and narwhals and 40 variations on the idea of moth. This galaxy of killer asteroids and tendrils of dark matter and radio waves carrying Paul Harvey past Andromeda. This universe of layers and pockets and expanding waistlines and entropic musculatures. This singular organism held together with string. This will go from 1 to 0, positive and negative to neutral, hot and cold to numb. We will cave into one another, pressed into a single particle of God, heavy enough to fall into other worlds, maybe a universe of mirrors, of life-affirming ice and liquid stones, of turbulence restrained to cockpits and crow's nests, of volatility only as an abstract concept, or better yet, a given. Maybe a universe where failure blossoms into planets of lavender and teal, where nothing is everything, butterflies become worms covered in daffodils, bullets shoot themselves with confetti, and we learn to kiss each other on the jaw after screaming, our lips open.
Moon water in a mason jar on a stone beneath a maple tree, absorbing and reflecting the light absorbed and reflected by the lunar surface. Particles of dark matter and comet tails and green cheese and amniotic fluid swirling within the glass. These pieces of God. I raise the jar and take a long and labored swallow, hoping to be what I drink, to be, if not a primary source of light, then at least a mirror, keeping the energy moving even if it fails to feed my own skin, attracting the seas, making the dead of night a little livelier. I take all the jar offers. I feel the holy water cooling every bone and sinew. There is suddenly a chorus of creation's collective in my ears and major arteries. I listen to the celestial song. I rise like a tide. Finally coming together like a horsehead nebula, pulling this fire in from the outer reaches of what I can consider my limit, trying to contain the nuclear reactions. I am a product of what came before. My grandfather raised Belgian horses. My grandmother raised all kinds of hell. Power and unstable atoms, flanks like mountains and love like uranium in a blender. There is a voice in my chest calm enough to tame broncos and sharp enough to cut deep into the earth and draw blood. This was me from the beginning, turmoil shaped into a perfect sphere, order and chaos, an old man burning like a newborn colt. All of this is totality. My toenails in Sagittarius, my son's laugh in a supermassive black hole, earthworms in the Ukraine and the rings of Uranus, microverse and universe and multiverse and omniverse and freeverse and second verses, well versed in the trappings of versatile existence. We can be a shotgun or a rosebud. We can be a shotgun and a rosebud. We can be the sneeze that sparks the big bang or the iron that kills a star, or both, or neither. The only certainty is that our singularity must only be communal, a celestial chorus singing different harmonies of the same song, vibrating on a single string. Can you hear the waves? I close my eyes and see the constellations I have scored into my forearm and wrist, the myth of permanence, diagrams of my intolerance of mirrors, my impatience for the work of gravity, like trying to dig a star out of the earth. Just wait. One day there will be a moment for solar flares and death rattles, electromagnetic dispatches from beyond the universal bulk. There will be a bit of time for drops of blood and self-pity. I think instead, though, I'll dip my finger into those wounds and scribble an itinerary for my trip. I'll pull every melted candle and whispered prayer, every worn lens and second-hand cutlass, every star chart and zodiac, every open-ended question I can find into a honeydew list for the Godhead. better get cracking.
I'm so glad you can make it, so glad you took the time to wake the fuck up and glance away from your navel and into the stars. You who reach for nothing but dead growth and erected statues of slave owners and autocrats. You who fill your mouths with rotting flesh and blood. You who pray to mirrors while all above and around you swarm nuclear storms of stars and galaxies, nebulas like violet indigo grips in reality. You think God can have a long white beard? You think the one who made all this would lounge on cumulus clouds, picking fairies from his sandaled toes and watching the earth like an episode of Days of Our Lives? Not typically humans who project omniscience into a bipedal shape. This is the Godhead, motherfucker. This is the almighty vibration that roams through all things. This is the Aleph, the Buddha mind, the Om. This is the society of alien spiders casting webs into your violent swarm. This is the goddamn tetragrammaton. The number is 1. The number is 8, not sideways. The number is 7. The number is Z. The number is 1. The number is 1. The number is 1 and nothing. There is no number beyond the number you assign to God. Call it 1, call it pi, call it anything you care to, dude. Just don't call it late to dinner. This is the Godhead. This is the voice, and the voice says this. Know that the universe is unclaimed. There is no governing body. There is merely an old man who scraped dead skin from his elbow and left it to be found by whoever the fuck would want such a thing. Which is to say, this universe is nothing unless you want it. This universe is a scrap of wood on a shop floor waiting to be swept away or perhaps to be picked up and sanded into a smooth and meaningful shape. This universe is raw material. Pull your head out of your cavernous ass and build something. Make it yours, make it yours, make it yours. Fold its every nook and cranny with your damn fingers and then scream it alive. Make it yours and scream it. Make it yours and scream like your lungs are on fire. Scream until your heart bursts and your plasma saturates this new creation of yours. Scream until you find your universal mouth.